White people, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our violence. White violence. No more deflecting, no more blaming everything on everybody else. Let's confront ourselves. White people in America, our history is so extremely violent. And instead of confronting that, we continue to blame other people for the issues and the problems in this country, instead of just taking ownership of our part to play in everything, which is a huge part. Can we stop scapegoating other groups of people, please, and just look at ourselves? White people, it's time to talk about it. Like, it's long past time. Getting rid of other groups of people in this country is not going to make this country better. It's not going to make your life better. It's not going to make you better. I think white people are so scared to talk about race and to talk about white violence and white supremacy because they don't want to connect themselves to it. We don't want to feel like we're a part of the problem. But unless you're acknowledging the reality of how the US, this country, runs, you are a part of the problem. I truly believe in my heart, in my soul, that if you're born a white person in this country or on this planet, but I'll just speak about this country, part of that journey is to dismantle systems that have been built to oppress other people. The hard work of life is to confront yourself. How do I benefit from the way that things are? And how does my benefiting from those things harm other people? And instead of walking around with, 1,000-pound bag of shame on your back, consider it your responsibility to do that work. Consider it an opportunity that you are in the best possible position to make this world a better place by not accepting racist and prejudiced and oppressive systems for what they are and trying to contribute to changing them. Use the privilege that you have for good. I don't think that anybody can ever really love themselves without being honest about themselves, without being honest with themselves. And that work is painful and hard, but it's so worth it. White people, you don't have to consciously think that you're better than other people in order to contribute to harm against them. All it takes to contribute to harm is to stay silent and disengaged. White people, can we finally get this shit right? Can we finally take accountability? Can we finally look ourselves in the mirror and decide that this isn't good enough? We're not doing a good enough job. You aren't losing because somebody else is safe and cared for. You aren't losing because somebody different than you exists. White people, let's talk about it. Let's start having these conversations with ourselves and with each other. It's time.
You can't take people's historical context away from them, and everybody wants us to. White people are always like, "Come on, it wasn't us." They want black people to forget everything. Every year, white people add 100 years to how long ago slavery was. I've heard educated white people say slavery was 400 years ago. No, it very wasn't. It was 140 years ago. That's two 70-year-old ladies living and dying back to back. That's how recently you could buy a guy.
That's it.
And it's not like slavery ended and then everything has been amazing. It just...
Oh, glad that's over.
Oh, yeah, it just ended like a clean... where you don't have to wipe. Just boom. And then it's just been parades and presents ever since. You gotta remember that if you meet a black person, they have gray hair, they remember a time they weren't allowed to use a certain toilet. So give them a little, time to be cranky.
Can somebody explain to me in crayon-eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live? And I do not want to hear the pull yourself up from your bootstraps, work 90 hours a week. That's not the goal, guys. That should not be our standard.
I voted for Donald Trump. And really starting to regret my vote because this isn't what I voted for. I voted for a lot more people to go to jail. I voted for a lot more politicians to be stripped of their power and put in prison for the crimes that they've committed against humanity. I voted for the Epstein list to come out. the full list of every politician, every bureaucrat that had anything to do with those minors.
Let's talk about the Trump supporters that are losing their jobs. Last night I was out in Chicago and these three guys started talking to me and they were all from Naperville. And they asked what I did for work and I said, oh, like I make educational content. And the guy was like, oh, are you one of those like liberals? Like, are you one of those like lefties? And he was so serious. Like he just continued to like mock me and make fun of my content. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave this conversation. And he goes, yeah, it's because of you guys that my mom just lost her job. And I was intrigued. I was like, why did your mom lose her job? What did she do for work? And he goes, oh, well, she was in the military. She's a veteran, but then she was working at this office for the last few years and they just let her go. I look him dead in the face. I'm like, do you think your mom was a DEI hire? Because veterans are a protected class. And now that they don't have to hire her anymore, then they let her go. He goes, that's so true. He doesn't believe me. He looks it up and just the color just like drains from his face. And the guy with him was a research assistant after just graduating from university. And his position was just terminated because of lack of federal funding from the federal government, which is thanks to fucking Trump. So newsflash, DEI doesn't just mean black people. So in fact, what's happening on a federal level is going to affect you too. You aren't special just because you're white. Carmen's getting them. Okay, bye.
Sitting here looking at the skyline in Chicago, laid off from my job, literally staying with my friend here, with no clue what I'm doing with my life right now. And we reframe opportunity rather than failure or something, but jeez, feeling a bit lost. I am. Life is funny. Life is funny.
Yeah, these are deeper analysis about what I'm gonna speak at today, because I know that many people have been thinking the same maybe as how I am thinking, and we have come to realize and get the clear notifications or the clear information from the whites and the black people on how they are reacting about this incident. The white people always thought that the suffering was only meant for the black people. They have been only thinking that the suffering was only meant for the slaves, because in America or in the eyes of the white people, they always see black people as slaves. They only see them as slaves. They only feel like those people were always meant to be the ones facing these sufferings, all these problems, all these chaos and crisis is only supposed to be done in the side of the black people. And now, today, what is happening? What is happening? Because all that we are experiencing today is not happening as how it was planned. It's not happening as how it was expected. Because today, since the situation started to hit harder in the country of America, that's when we started to experience many whites coming out to express their feelings, express how they are feeling about the whole situation in this country, because they thought that when they were going to vote for Donald Trump and the current regime, maybe they are going to change the situation from how it was to the best and the better position where they will be all benefit from it. But now things started to happen other way around. So all that is happening today, I would like many blacks in America today to come out and explain to us what's really happening, because we are just getting some verification here. We are trying to go deeper and try to find the best evidence and of all that is happening today and how the whites are being affected. But in reality, and to put these things to be clear, we need a verification from the black community today to tell us how things are happening, how these people are feeling in the community, how today they are interacting, because they have been interacting differently, because the whites have been separated. They have been separated for so long. They have been segregated for so long, and they have fight for this for so long. They have tried to beg for equality for so long, but nobody was ready to listen for them. Nobody was there to fight for their own problems. So which forced them to start fighting for their own issues, to start learning on how to depend on by themselves, to learn on how to put their own problems in order.
White people, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our violence, white violence. No more deflecting, no more blaming everything on everybody else. Let's confront ourselves. White people in America, our history is so extremely violent. And instead of confronting that, we continue to blame other people
And now, the idea of racial superiority, when Europeans began colonizing Africa, the Americas and Asia, they needed a moral justification for their actions. They created the ideology that white people were superior, more intelligent, more civilized, and closer to God, while black people were inferior and meant to serve or to suffer. That's how they believed. They believed, and that's how they taught the people of the white people. That's how they made Africans or the black people to behave, to believe. We have been growing, knowing that, like when we go to religious, we have been growing up knowing that Jesus or Lord, Jesus was white. And whenever you see a white person, you feel like you are looking to your God, because we were meant to believe that Jesus or God was white. And now the black people were only known as the people of suffering, the slaves, and the workers or the servers. So whenever something happens which need a manpower, the only people who are indeed or needed or targeted are the people of the color, right? So hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Huyu anataka ya takataka.
Hebu mpatie simu.
Shika.
Yeah. Hey, nalo. Poa. Hebu utakujia kesho jioni. Yeah. So these colonizers, when they came to colonize Africa, they came with different tactics to make people of color to look very inferior and make the white people to look so superior. So whenever they were coming, even if as they were moving from one kingdom to another in African continent, they were going in a different kingdom from one kingdom to another, trying to convince the people of Africa that we are so superior. We are so superior, and you have to bow before us. You have to obey us. We are the one who can give you the best way of governance. We are the one to give you protection. We are the one to give you any of your needs. So many of black leaders or kings of those days, they believed the words of the whites, which resulted in slavery, in the colonization, and everything that today the blacks has been facing or passing through. And that is how the system trained the people of the white people. That's how they trained them. So they have been growing up knowing that they are the people to be bowed for. They are the people who are so superior, and they are the people who have to make their orders and decision for the black people. So they twisted religion, science, and physiology to make it seem neutral, that whites ruled and blacks suffered. This lie became the foundation of slavery and neocolonization. So when we came to the issue of religious manipulation, many white colonizers claimed the Bible justified black suffering. They misused stories like the curse of Ham to say that Africans were destined to be slaves, even though that interpretation is completely false. This made them believe that a black suffering was divinely approved, while their own suffering was unjust or tragic. It was a moral double standard build exercise operation. So whenever they were coming to do their own things, which their main target was to oppress the people of color, they never felt like they're doing something which is bad. They never felt guilty of doing all that they were doing, because they even came to justify to the people of color that the suffering was only meant for the black people. And because of this, the people of color, or the Africans, the black people, were the one to pass through this, because they were the people of God. So For you to be the person, the people of God, as because God loves you, you have to suffer, and God at the end of the day will come to save you. That is how they come to manipulate Africans through religion. So today, these white people who are coming out to expose the truth, to speak about the truth, they are coming to speak the truth, which I believe that is true, and that is how they were taught. So most of the white people today who are coming out to speak the truth about the whole situation of all that of what has been happening, all that they are speaking is what is the fact. Because all that they are doing today, some of them or a lot of them, they were born and find these things existing. They were born and fighting oppression and racial discrimination happening, and the system that was there many years ago is the same system that today is still controlling everything in this country. So when the white people are born as child at the younger age, they are growing up being taught some things which make them just to go in a similar way as their parents, as their forefathers have been going through, following the instructions of how the supremacy, the white supremacy was set for them to believe and to cooperate with the black people. So all these people who are coming out to admit their truth, it's because that they have come to realize the truth. They have come to know that all that they have been saying is not true. All that they have been coming out to do, or to how they have been coming to interact with the people, the black people, is not their faults, but it's how they were taught. It's how the system teaches them to do. So you can't go against the system that you were born and find it existing and operating. You have to only follow as how it guides you to do. Let me give you an example. If you can remember, during the time of Barack Obama, during his victory, many black people celebrated. They cheered the name of Barack Obama. They shed the tears of joy because they believed that for the first time a black man is going to rule the great country of America, and due to that they are going to benefit from that governance. They are going to get their freedom, their rights. But what happened at the end of the day? Because Obama, when he was coming to power, he was a president of I don't think, I know, 50s or 100. He was not the first person. There were many presidents who were there before Barack Obama. So the system that was created there to govern this country is what is the same system that he has to go with. It's the same direction that he was supposed to govern with. So he would have not come and do things against the system. So what happened? He was the one who was supporting every law that was there to oppress the black people. The black people never enjoyed or benefited from the governance of Barack Obama, and it's because he was allowed or asked to do or to go as the way of America, but not doing things on his own way. So if they admitted that black pain was equal to white pain, the entire system would collapse morally. So they taught themselves to believe that black suffering didn't matter, or even that it was meant to be. As I told you earlier, that the people who are coming to speak against the system are the people who have come to know the truth, are the people who are feeling guilty of how they have been dealing with the people of color, are the people who now regret of how they have been treating the people of color without any reason, without any valid reason that this is how these people would have was intended to pass through. Because I remember one day I came across a clip where it was in a church, and there was a preacher. It was a white preacher, and he asked the congregants that if you are a white person and you can be well treated as the black people are being treated in America, you have to stand up. He asked this 3 times, but no white person stood up. This means that even themselves, they know that how they have been treating the black people, the way they have been treating them, interacting with them in the community, they cannot be able or they cannot be ready to pass through the same. They cannot allow to go through the same situation that these people of color have been going through. So they really know that all that they have been doing is not humanity. It's not something good. It's not something that is supposed to be done against the people or a human. So all the people who are coming out to admit the truth, we are here, we are appreciating this, because if many people will come to know the truth, if many people or the majority will come to know the truth and come to realize that all that they have been doing is not something that is supposed to be done to the people, then this will move the world further. This will bring or cover the gap that was there. This will bring a people to unite and love each other, to support each other, and knowing that you don't have to oppress someone else. You don't have to go against the will or against the same issues that you are making some people to pass through. And through this, we are going to heal the world. We are going to make people equality, to treat people equality, and know that someone's pain can be your pain too. And how the other person is passing through the pain. If you are allowed to pass through the same pain, then you will not feel okay or will not feel good. So until next time we come to the same, thank you very much for being here each and every time. Thank you for staying in. For those people who are supporting me, for those people who are the returning subscribers here, I appreciate your time, your support, because you are doing the great thing, and I appreciate your support. Ravaging from, I love and appreciate you. Let's meet on the next episode as we do the same every time and every day. Be blessed. Ravaging from.